Well, today what we're going to do is ask each one of our panelists, all of whom use technology in their employment. I should mention in their paid employment, right? They use technology, and we want to hear how do they use technology in their employment, right? How did they get there? How did they learn computer skills over the years?
My name is Madeline. I'm 22 years old, and I like to knit, cross-stitch, swim, play the piano, and sing and dance.
Great. So, Madeline, do you want to start out by telling everyone a little bit about where you work,
Okay.
what type of work you do?
I work for a law firm in downtown Washington, D.C. I work in the administration department. A typical day starts when I get to the office. I have an office ID that I have to flash to go past security. I use the same ID to use the elevator to go to my floor. When I get to my desk, I turn on my computer and I have to sign in for time and attendance. I also check my emails to see if my boss has sent me any instructions or if there's any general office information that I need to know about. After I boot up, I go see my boss and pick up my work for the day, as well as pass out to my coworkers what they need to be working on. Then I start my work of scanning documents in the computer. When it's lunch, I have my alarm set for lunchtime. I have to sign out on my computer. I sometimes check what the menu is on the cafeteria line if I'm not brown bagging it. At lunch, I'm also able to check my personal email. My alarm lets me know when lunch is over, and I sign back into work. I usually check back with my boss, and either finish what I was working on before lunch, or do some updating or filing. For updating, I pull up existing files on the computer and update information on those files. I have another alarm set that reminds me when it's time to go home. Sometimes, if I'm on my last file, I stay late and finish. Before I leave, I go back to my office, sign out of my computer for the day on time and attendance. I shut down my computer, pack up my things, and call home and let them know I'm heading to the metro.
My name is Ramon. Paula. I am 29 years old, and my hobbies, I like music. I use my iPad, and I like many things. I like to help my community, volunteering in the fire department, in my church, in my former high school. I work at Department of Veterans Affairs, Office of the General Counsel, here in Washington, D.C. Our department is in charge of supporting the war veterans. My department helps attorneys get the veterans files to prepare for going to court. There are some legal assistants that help the attorneys too. My position is called Open Fire Room Staff. I have two responsibilities. One of them is to give the attorneys the files that they request to work on. The other is to do an inventory of the open files. Computers help me do my work. This is how my days are. First, the attorneys at my office request the files. They need on the computer system called SharePoint. They send me email asking me to help them find the files. Every morning, I look at my work emails on Outlook. I see there are any messages from for my supervisors and check for the file requests. The attorneys sent to me, there is a list of long numbers for each case, and each one is a file about a veteran. I look at the numbers in the computer, one by one, and I go to the shelves to pull the file, cases out for each attorney. Then I go to the computer and send an email to each attorney saying the files are ready to be picked up. Sometimes they want a file to be delivered, and I take it to the office of the attorney myself. Sometimes they want to come to my office and pick it up themselves. Then I go to my computer and mark them as checked out. My other job is to do the open file inventory. I write down all the numbers of the open files by hand on my inventory sheets, and after that I type them on my computer. There is a program in my computer that's called Charts. I type all the numbers of the open cases. If people in my office request cases to be closed out, I write the numbers down on my sticky notes and go to my inventory chart in my computer to take the numbers out. Once a month, I write an email to my supervisor and send this inventory to him, and he puts them on the graph and uses it in department meetings to show the progress of our group, how much work we did. I am a part of a team, and my other colleagues do other jobs. I also use my computer to do my time cards and mark vacations and medical leaves. If I have time at lunchtime, I read the news and check the weather. I only use my computer at work for things related to work. I listen to my boss. I started to learn to use the computer when I was a baby.
Hi, my name is Adrian. Hi, my name is Adrian, and I am 24 years old.
Today.
Thank you. I had just finished my third year at Smithsonian University Life program. This program focuses on academic and employment. Today I'll talk about the employment side and the jobs that I had taken. Sometimes in my spare time, I like to go on YouTube and explore various music artists. And sometimes I would like to go to Wikipedia and research various issues. I had a congressional internship on Capitol Hill in Congressman Hoyer's office.
Yay, Congressman Hoyer from Maryland.
We're all from Maryland.
Sorry, Marylander. Sorry, I apologize.
It's okay. As a student within George Mason University Life program, I took an employment class where we go to different job sites to learn skills and how to keep a job. The jobs that I took, I will describe below. I interned within a campus library, and I had interned within a newspaper's office called The Broadside. I interned within the Life Program office. And also, before I became a student in George Mason, I also interned within the sociology department at the University of Maryland.
Any Terps out there? From the University of Maryland? Any Terp fans?
Adios. I'm a Terp fan.
Thank you. We have one on stage. Great.
Hi, my name is Sarah Grenner, and I am 40 years old. And my hobbies are cruises, cooking, and traveling.
Don't worry about it. I've heard she does phenomenal work at a publisher. And she's done absolutely, for 19, I mean, I haven't been at my employer for 19 years. 19 years is very impressive.
And that kind of excitement, to know that you love your job and you do so many different things and you contribute to that company and that people realize that you're making a real contribution at work. I like what Ramon said, you're part of a team. You have responsibilities and you're part of a team and you help that team move forward. And Sarah's part of a very complex team too with publishing, so she's going to tell you about it.
I work for a publishing place called White House. It's a publishing place that I worked for 19 years. And I'm an office receptionist. And I do so many things around there. And I do filing, typing, review copies. There's another piece I'm doing is Acumen.
And I had never heard of that software before you told me.
It's a software.
For publishers,
Specifically
right?
for
Yes.
publishers.
Acumen?
Acumen.
Right, I had never heard of this
It's a
software.
book processing.
I'm sorry?
It's a book
It's
processing.
a book processing, okay, for
Yeah.
publishers. Yep.
So I go on into Acumen and do special needs catalog requests. They request it by phone. I write it down on a piece of paper. And I do so many things, not besides Acumen. I do computer
Database, right?
database, like Google research. No.
Is it in Access or?
Excel.
It's in Excel, your database
Yeah.
is in Excel, okay.
Yeah, Excel.
Because that's the, you were telling me when the mailing lists, when postcards go out and they get returned to sender,
Yes.
right, what happens? You get the card if it's returned that it's like the wrong address or something. How do you update it? What happens then?
I actually update it in Acumen in Active, and I click on that and I save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
To update the record that it's
Yes,
the wrong address.
yeah.
Okay. One of the things that's really important to understand is that all four of them are expert users when it comes to using computers and technology. We're even talking about the broader sense. It's not only using a PC or a Mac, but for instance, how many of you have used iPads before? Just show of hands. Show of hands, how many of you use iPads? Okay. Ramon, you have an iPad, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay, iPad user, so iPad users. So we've got iPad. How many people in the audience, right, are iPad users? Good. How many people have iPhones? How many people have iPhones? How many up here on the panel have iPhones?
I do.
How many? Good. How many have smartphones? Touchscreen phones? Right.
Nope.
So you've got people who use technology a lot, right? And not only that, all of them have experience with formal classes? Because you might be sitting in the audience and say, okay, they all are employed. They all have paid employment where they get to use technology, right? Well, how do I get to that level of skill? So can you actually start by just telling us, each one of the panelists, can you tell us a little bit more about how you've acquired such a high skill level? Is it that you've taken computing classes? And when did you take them? It probably wasn't just last month, right? You've taken classes throughout your life probably. So tell us more about the training. Tell us about how you pick up your skill level. Do you want to start? Madeline, do you want to start?
I start.
Talk about this. Madeline's like, yes, yes. She's like, I want to tell you now.
I learned how to use a computer in school and at home. I had computer classes in grade school. I learned keyboarding. I practiced keyboarding, playing games on the computer with my family and by myself. In high school, we had computers in a resource room that we used to look up information for assignments and to do class work. I also had a computer class in college that taught Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and other computer basics. At home, I go on Facebook, YouTube, and look up things on the computer. My brother will help me with things I don't know how to do. My mom will ask me how to do things on the computer, and I'll teach her what to do.
Okay, great. Ramon, do you want to move up the mic a little bit? And you tell us a little bit more about, tell us about your experience with how do you learn this high level of skill? I mean, he's a federal employee.
Yeah, that's right.
I like it. He's like, yep, federal employee. Yep. So tell us, Ramon, how did you get this high level of computer skill?
Well, I learned this computer skill at work because like my job that my supervisors in my work they teach me how to use computer.
So your supervisors teach you. It's not only formal classes, but your supervisors at work teach you as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I learned a lot, on my computer at work because, like, in my work they always teach us how to, use computers at work, like file requests and inventory. They always teach us to do things on computer.
Okay, great. Sarah, how did you learn all your computer skills? You took 4 computing classes in high school?
Four classes.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then
That's good.
Was an internship, then part-time, now I'm working full-time. And I'm learning from think right through to my job, and I got computer skills in that of me. And I'm learning it very quickly, but I got hang of it.
Okay.
Sarah's high school internship turned into, which had a part-time job and then her full-time job too.
Actually, part-time.
Part-time.
Part-time
Yes.
first and then full-time.
Part-time and then full-time.
And then full-time.
Yes.
Okay. So internships are a good opportunity to develop skills, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. But here's a real-life example of someone who did an internship. They saw how good she was, she liked being there, and it turned into a job that she loves.
That's great. And Adrian, you've been a congressional intern, right?
Right.
Right. Tell us more about that.
Okay.
And tell us more about the skills that you learn in technology that you use in that. We were talking about internships. I just think he's got such a great internship story. But tell us about how you learned some of those computing skills.
What?
Tell us about how you learned some of those computer skills. Did you take classes in high school? Or, did you take classes in one of the college programs?
I learned most of my high school level computer skills from my classes within high school, Mount, and from taking classes within the live program.
That was at George Mason or?
Within George Mason.
George Mason University.
When I was young, I had a computer in my house. Thank you, parents. And also my job coach also helped me to learn a skill that he probably knows that I don't know. So I also want to thank him too.
Great. That's great, because all of you, right, took classes in high school, you've learned on the job, you've also, some of you, who took classes even earlier than high school?
I did grade school.
You took, I'm sorry, preschool?
Grade school.
Grade school, sorry, grade school, you took classes. Ramon, did you take earlier than high school?
Yeah.
Computer classes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Since I was a baby.
Since you were a baby.
You started early.
There you go. He started early. Sarah, did you? Or only high school?
It's actually like high school through the old job on Fisher's Lane,
Okay.
and then this job.
Okay, so in high school, and Adrian, it sounds like you were already telling us that you took it earlier, and your parents gave you also computers very early.
Well, I had computer games to play.
And you had computer games. Okay.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. Now, it sounds like most of you have had internships, right? Right, is that right? You had, Madeline, you had an internship? Yeah, Ramon? Yes? You had an internship?
Internship for?
An internship before your current job?
Current job.
Before your current job, you had some type of internship.
Before my job, I used to, before I got this job with the VA, that I used to work for the dentist's office in the beginning.
Okay.
You know, it was just a part-time, and then I was looking for a full-time, and this was my full-time job.
Okay.
Back in, you know.
Wonderful. And Adrian, you've already said that you've had internships, so we've already talked about that. One of the patterns that we see, it seems that very often internships, even if you start out as an unpaid intern, it's very helpful to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
To get employers to say, oh wow, look at the skills that they can do. Look at the loyalty that they're showing. Look how hard they work, right? And so that's really helped all of you in getting your foot in the door. The internships have really helped getting your foot in the door. My understanding from you, Adrian, you've actually used one internship to get another internship.
Yes.
You were telling us. Can you tell us more about that? That once you've been in the circles with your internship, you've been able to get other internships that way. Tell us more about that.
When I was working for Congressman Hoyle, I was working there for a while. Then they had a banquet there for the whole internship program that I went through to become an intern. And so I was talking to one of the staff members who was working for Congressman Hoyle. And if I'm talking to that person, I gotta have another intern because I was talking to the staff person who was working for Hoyle, which I didn't even know that I couldn't even get that job. So
you were able to use the internship to get another one. That's amazing.
exactly.
That is absolutely terrific. So let me ask you, when you all run into problems, right? When you run into problems related to use of technology at work, how do you handle it? What do? You don't give up. I mean, right? So how do you handle it? Do you ask someone else for help? Do you check in a book? What do you do? Adrian, you want to start? Yeah.
So, I could either go to one of my co-workers, or my job coach, or my intern manager. Or you can also do it for yourself as well. But you should always ask for help if you need help.
Okay, great, thank you. Sarah?
What's the question again?
When you have trouble with technology, when you run into a technical problem with computers at work, how do you typically handle that?
Actually, there's a person named Glenn Hayes. If you have a problem with any computer stuff, and he will come over and fix it.
Okay, so is he sort of your IT support person?
No.
Or no?
He's a computer geek.
He's a computer geek.
Yeah.
So he's who you call when you have
Yes.
a problem.
Apparently the official title is the computer geek. That's good to know. That's the staff member's name. Okay, Ramon.
He knows everything.
Okay, Ramon. Sorry.
If I run into problems on my computer that I handle, I really turn it off and I turn it back on.
Okay.
You know, in case if it's a problem on my computer.
So you reboot the computer essentially?
Reboot it, yeah.
You reboot it? Okay.
I go reboot it and it works. But if it's just a network problem, then I have to wait until people fix it because we have a IT person in my job, so they always fix the problem. But if I have a little problem on my computer, I always call the help desk. I do them myself.
Okay. So it sounds like also you often try to figure out the source of the problem first, right?
Right.
Is it a network problem, you know, or is it something that I can solve or something I need to call the help desk for?
For very certain things from my computer, if I went into the problems, like it was just a network problem.
Okay.
Regardless, that you know, that I have to wait because you know we have an IT person at my work. Sometimes, like if it's bad weather, sometimes we lose power or something like that. But you know, it's or something. We have to wait for everything to kind of boot up and run. And or if you know, if something happens to a computer or a telephone, same thing as to the computer, that one of my IT people in my job, that they fix it, we wait until everything gets booted up.
You wait for them. Okay, great. And Madeline?
My supervisor at work helps and trains me in new software before I start working on something new.
Okay. And when there's a technical problem, though, typically, how do you address it?
Well, I either call the IT person.
Okay. They're known as the IT person at your office,
yep.
right? Okay.
Or I know sometimes I know how to fix it, sometimes I don't. So I get my boss or the IT person.
What are some other technology-related or computer-related tasks you'd like to learn? What are things that you really want to learn how to do that you want to learn how to do next at work? Madeline, are there any skills you really want to pick up at your workplace?
The other technology task that I would like to learn is editing the bills on the computer because my coworkers do that. I like to learn setting up my schedule on my work emails and saving messages on the phone.
Okay, great. I tell you what, we'll jump. Adrian, what are some other technology tasks that you'd like to learn at work?
I would like to learn how to make and take phone calls, write more papers, and make PowerPoint presentations and present them.
Okay, presenting PowerPoint presentations, great. Sarah, what about you? What are some other technical skills you'd like to learn at work that you'd like to learn?
I would like to learn how to take. I would like to learn how to do book orders, back of the special needs catalog, order form, and somebody had to train me how to do it. And I want to learn how to do that.
Okay, great. And Ramon, what are some new technical skills you would like to learn at work?
The new technical when I learn at work. Okay, the things that I like to learn that I always continue to learn different things in the office. I know I have my two jobs where I do at work is my inventory and my requests, but
right. So you do primarily inventorying and requests. But my understanding, you were telling me earlier that you've done other jobs, other tasks at work before too, and they rotate you through.
Yeah.
So you actually have a really large number of work-related tasks that you're capable of doing and have practice doing, right?
Right. So in my office, we always learn a lot of things, and people in my office teach us.
Okay. So you're going to learn other skills from people teaching you in the office.
Yeah.
Great. Right now, there are a lot of people out here in the audience who are saying, this is great. I see these 4 people sitting up on the panel. They're employed, they're getting paid, they get to use technology at work, they get to use computing at work, right? Probably they're sitting in the audience right now saying, how do I get to be like the 4 of you, right? So my next question, and I can start with Madeline on the end, is if they're sitting there right now and they're saying, I want to get a job, I want to be employed, I want to work in computing and using computing skills, what would you suggest to them? What is your personal advice based on your own experience to everyone here today? Madeline, go for it.
To get started to get a job using computers, firstly, get used to using one. I think it helps to know keyboarding skills and basic word processing.
So spend a lot of time, you said, on keyboarding skills and word processing. Okay? And by the way, I can tell you all the people up here are all master typists. They're all very quick on, no, but that's a very important skill to have. You know, in our research looking at expert users with Down syndrome, all of them had high level of keyboarding skills. They could type very quickly on a keyboard using both hands and multiple fingers. So they weren't hunting and pecking, they were touch typing. They were going like this.
Yep.
So that's really good. See, Madeline's doing it already. Okay, yeah. Ramon, what about you? What's your advice to the people who are assembled here today?
I suggest they work hard, practice a lot, do their best, focus, work as a team, and have fun learning. They need to learn to type, to email, and learn to use the computer at home as much as possible.
I suggest you should always make sure you know what kind of tasks that are being expected of you. And if they're all computer tasks, either take a class or ask somebody who knows how to be on the computer and learn from them. And remember these words. If you can succeed, if you can succeed, you can achieve.